Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified. I'm Shaveen Bandadanayake. A question I often get asked on a daily basis by students on my Udemy platform or even through my tutoring masterclasses is, how do I prepare for my examinations? Whenever I get asked this question, the very first response that I give is a question in itself. I ask them, when is your exam? The reason for this is, depending on when your exam is, the techniques and the volume of techniques that you will use will differ. So, for example, if you're just starting off in your LLB or law degree, chances are that depending on the university, you're either 6 months to almost a year away from your actual examination. So what you need to do will change over time. But much like many others who might be watching this video at this particular juncture in April, your examination might be actually 4 weeks or a month away. Now, at this particular point in your study timetable or your preparation mantra, there are 3 fundamental things that you need to keep in mind and 3 techniques that you need to employ in order to succeed in your examination. The first technique is focus. What I mean by focus is, up until this point, you would have gone through the subject guide material provided to you by the university, textbooks, articles, various other sources of literature, and you would have studied and understood the subject matter. But now it's time for you to actually put pen to paper. Very often I see a lot of students failing to get through the examination in a successful or an appreciable manner, primarily because they'll study for the entirety of their semester, and then the very first time they even see an examination paper or the very first time they even notice what a question looks like is during the examination itself. That creates an environment where the student tends to freeze. You might not be able to perform at your best. After all, think of it like a sport. If it was any other type of sport, for example, you would practice, you'll prepare yourself, you'll train. An examination, specifically that of law, is no different. You need to go through past papers and questions prior to your examination. Many universities actually provide past papers as well. But if you're unfamiliar with the techniques that you need to utilize to actually attempt a question, how to train properly, make sure you check out some of the links in the description down below, as well as drop me an email so that we can set up several fast-track sessions, fast-track tutoring sessions, where we can go through questions together and I can provide you with feedback reports to ace your examination as well. So that's point number 1, focus. The second point, and this might seem obvious to you as well, is to stay calm. The very first thing that most students, the moment I tell them start going through answer scripts, start going through your questions and determining how exactly to prepare, the very next thing that they ask me is, have I studied enough? Have I picked the right topics? Do I know enough of it? Do I know all the cases that are required, and so on? Calm down. The reason why I'm saying this is, the question you need to actually ask yourself is, do I understand the material? And to answer that question, simply think about explaining most of the topics, if not all the topics that you've studied in any given subject, to a friend or a colleague that may be not from a legal background, maybe not studying law for that matter. If you can succinctly and briefly explain to that person what exactly the topic is, that should do. The reason why is, in any topic, and you'll notice this when you answer questions as well, it's all about understanding the law and applying it to real world scenarios. You'll be presented with such scenarios in your problem-based questions. So everything other than that core aspect of any topic is all about dressing up your answer in such a way to impress your examiner. So stay calm. If you understand the topic, if you can explain it to someone in simple terms, you're there already. So that's point number 2. Stay calm. The third and final point, and this is actually the most important towards the very last stages just before your examination, maybe a few days. Prepare mentally. By preparation, in terms of your mental standing, what I mean is, don't get stressed out over the smallest details. I've had plenty of students over the years that have fretted over the simplest, most insignificant things. Am I using the right pen, for example? Will I have enough papers during the examination? Have I studied enough? And will I forget things that I need to take? We focus and we prepare for our questions in advance so that we don't have to go through these problems. When I tell you to focus and answer questions in that first point, when you've gone through sufficient number of questions, it becomes muscle memory. And when you go to that examination, you'll be prepped as much physically as you are mentally. Not just the fact that you understand the topics as well as you know how to answer it, but you know the time that's going to take to answer those questions, as well as what exactly you need to take with you as well. There are so many aspects of writing examinations. Each student takes it differently. Try to incorporate these three elements: focusing on your examination itself by focusing on past papers, staying calm and understanding that you've done the hard work, you've studied the topic. It's all about whether you can articulate it properly, whether you can explain it to someone properly, and finally to prepare yourself mentally. Now, if you still feel like you need a bit of support, you need someone to give you like a heads up and a direction on where to go so close to the exam, make sure once again you reach out to me through the links in the description below, or you can simply send me or drop me an email in the link in the description as well as on screen as well. So with the exams close at hand, all the very best for it, and as always, have fun, stay safe, and obey the law.